Hello, Aries, and welcome to your March 2024 forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and this reading will help you travel through all of the energy, the opportunities, and anything that might be in your path for the next 6 to 8 weeks. And you can always use it for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. It's great to see all of you. And as always, I like to begin with some channeled messages coming straight from Spirit and Source. I get this through dreams, and today the first dream that came through really was focusing on the energy of birthing and creating something. So the first thing that I saw was this little baby, but I also felt with it as I looked at it, that pain and that process that would go into birthing that child. And for some of you, this can be a figurative sort of thing. A baby can indicate, just like we see here on the Sun card, a project, an idea, a part of your life that you're just getting through, and you could be that child that's kind of stepping foot and you feel like you're a babe in the woods, right? So it can be painful to get to that stage, but then there is this sort of joy and exuberance and even a little bit of naivete, not knowing, like ignorance is bliss, what's coming next. And that's the fun part of the Sun card, is just taking a moment to say, either I'm doing it or I did it. So Aries, in this period of time, you can do whatever you set your mind to, but please take some time not to just focus on how hard it was, but how great it is to be able to be in this energy of creation. The next thing that came through was the growing pains that child would experience as it goes from baby to adult. And that includes like literally growing, but also the emotional growing pains as you go into puberty and adolescence and things like that. And so in a figurative sort of thing, let's say you were working on something big, a book, a project, some sort of a product that you're putting out into the world. There comes a point where it is gone from your sort of workbench and your thought process, and it's out into the production of the world, whether it's being published or broadcast or released, or someone else is kind of serving as a steward of that. And you have to let go and hope that you've set into motion all the proper things. There'll be learnings and mistakes and also really great things along the way, and that's all part of the experience. So this month, if you can lean into the Sun energy, which is to have some fun, be enthusiastic, really enjoy the moment, all this other stuff will just fall into place as part of the process. But I feel like there's a lot to celebrate and there's a lot to be present with this month. Let's look at the bullets and make sure I covered all of it. So I think this is definitely a month for both birthing and also developing, possibly even the creation or inception of something new. So there could be multiple births and creations within the same period. Lean into the process and realize that you don't have to be perfect. Release the need to be perfect is exactly how I put it there. And like the baby in the Sun card, come authentically as you are and use your enthusiasm and your charisma to pull other people or attract other opportunities into your orbit. All right, really beautiful energy here, but it is saying it's okay to feel the whole gamut from joy to frustration as you're birthing and creating, because that's what it's like. We forget sometimes as adults how difficult it was going through all of that. This card is reminding you that there's ups and downs through every birthing and creative process. The next thing that I was shown in dreams was this beautiful image of a table that was filled with all the food that you could imagine, but also a clock. And I was constantly looking between the two of these, and I got the message here, which was to make sure that you are regularly taking care of your dietary needs, but also we're looking at the general energy of consumption. So this would be what you're eating, what you're putting into your mind, so what you're consuming as far as media and also like advice and environmental sort of things that are coming into your energy, and making sure that everything is well balanced. It's also looking at your sleep schedule, and all of these things need to be kind of parts of the pie that create balance and sustainability and happiness, and that you're not sort of shifting the scales in any one direction. I put the Queen of Pentacles here because second only to the Empress card, she really represents birthing, mothering, and nurturing energy. And so it's a nice segue from that first message that I was talking about. And it's also about what you want to take into your life. So she's looking at that big coin and thinking, is this something that I want to really put my energy behind, and what can I do with it? So there's discernment here. This is also a time for personal development. The Queen of Pentacles takes care of herself. So does the King of Pentacles. In order to be able to have more than enough, you need to make sure that you have sustained your own health and happiness first and foremost. So we are seeing a clock, which represents a schedule, but it also represents the universe saying it's time now to do this. And also, if abundance is coming forth for you, and it doesn't surprise me that, like with the Queen of Pentacles card here, that I was also associating it with bounty, because typically you see vines growing all across the King and the Queen of Pentacles. So there's also a lot that wants to come into your life. Make sure that you're setting yourself up to receive it and that you're open to receive it as well. This final message is going to help you with all of that. So really focusing in on the clock, I thought we can take this a step further, and it's about creating structure, getting organized, and by doing so, you're actually freeing up your mind to focus on the big picture. I chose the Hierophant here because you're going to embody that energy too, which is you're the boss. You're saying, we're going to do it this way. I'm going to focus on this. I know this day I do that. You're looking at all the things in your life, and there's basically a rhyme and a reason. Regulated schedules like this will also help your overall health because you're going to get a certain amount of sleep per day. Your body will get used to going to sleep and waking up at certain times. When you're hungry, you can feed yourself. When you're not, you can listen to that. But knowing that at certain times of the day, you're going to check in and hopefully nourish yourself is key. Exercise fits into that schedule. So create something sustainable and unique for you and to you. And by doing that, you'll be able to have more than enough for yourself and others. And by doing that, you can also put more energy into the act of creation. All right, let's take a look now and see what the cards have in store. As always, you can use this for sun, rising, and moon. We'll be taking a closer look at all three towards the end of the forecast, so I do hope you stick around. All right, let's begin with your catalyst here. We have synchronicity. This is a beautiful energy to come through in the catalyst position because what it's basically saying is something wonderful is on the horizon. This card represents action, change, and movement. So it's saying a synchronistic event is going to happen that will open up a dream, a goal, or even a desire that you might have forgotten about. All you have to do this month, Aries, is get out of your own way in the form of like disbelief or maybe not paying attention or recognizing it. So what we're going to focus on as we look at the spread is where is the synchronicity? How can you maybe get there faster? And when you get there, what can you do to make this even a little bit bigger? Because this card indicates that something wonderful is about to happen. So let's see if there's an overarching trend to this synchronistic event. Here's what I see. You have two of the best cards connected with a synchronicity. Two of Wands is being able to envision something and therefore empowering the creative process that the magician is. So the sooner we can get into seeing it and believing it, the sooner we can get into the synchronicity. What's standing in the way? Disbelief, the devil, someone around you that won't let you go or ease into this, personal healing or challenges with health, and possibly healing the inner child or some monetary issues. So we'll take it card by card, beginning with your centermost card. This is your North Star as we look at the month of March. Ace of Cups in reverse. You're looking at each and every opportunity, each and every person, and thinking to yourself, does this bring a sense of fulfillment, and does it also kind of light me up energetically, or does it deplete me? Because the Ace of Cups in reverse can be an energy that's showing a little bit of depletion, and so you really want to focus on things that engage, inspire, and delight. And yes, it can represent love, but you got to take care of yourself first so that you can receive it. A reversed Ace of Cups, or any ace, is basically saying, first take care of healing, happiness, and we were talking about like sustainability and self-care. All of that would be comprised within this card. So once you're there, then you can start to receive. But if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling depleted, if you just don't feel a connection with something, speak up, speak from the heart, and let it go so that you can make room for something better, okay? There may also be something that comes forth where it looks good on paper, but it doesn't feel right. This could be love or a job opportunity or anything really, but if when you're connecting face to face, it's just not what you want, again, letting that person know or letting that opportunity know so that you can release it and make room for something more. So we have the Knight of Wands coming through, crossing this card, and that means that the sooner you know what you want, also the sooner the universe can provide it. Clarity of thought, clarity of vision. It starts at the beginning of the month. And then once you have that clarity, speed meets it pretty quickly. So you may see this on a couple of levels because you have manifestation energy that's coming forth. So let me give you an example. You may be thinking of someone, and out of the blue they text or call. You may think to yourself, oh, I should do this. And then invariably, someone comes to you asking you for whatever it is you thought you should have finished at work. Or, maybe you think to yourself, it's been a while since I was, called to volunteer for this or called to do this. And someone then taps you and says, hey, we need you for this opportunity. So be very mindful of how your thoughts operate. If you open yourself up to, maybe this is my month to excel here, or maybe I really have a shot at this, other people pick up on that and they start to resonate with your sort of your higher frequency thought process. If you start to push doubts or fears out there, you could attract those. So we want to elevate thoughts to the possibility space. This is also simply taking action, basically not just walking the walk, but talking the talk, and showing up and basically doing what you say you're going to do. So accountability is what I'm trying to articulate here. Especially since this is more of a demonstrative card. It's not so much about speech, but about action. So be accountable and follow through on things. And also listen to your heart, follow your heart, because this is a card that wants to follow something and it's following this one. So don't do something when it doesn't feel right in a heart space. Let's look at the karmic lesson, and let's also tie it to the environment. We're going to start first with the karmic lesson. 7 of Pentacles. You are encouraged by your higher self, by the cards, by the universe, to be as picky as you need to be. The 7 of Pentacles is it's basically a turning point. For many of you, you've overcome challenges with money, with self-worth, but there could be something in front of you that's testing that and saying, are you sure? In fact, when we look in the environment, we see something that comes through with not quite exactly enough. Maybe you don't have enough time, enough money, enough support on something, and you've already learned the lesson that you're worth more and that you're not gonna go down that path again. So this card is just reminding you of that karmic pattern. So stand up and ask for more if you need it. Say no if something doesn't match. Don't rush things. That's the main thing with the 7 of Pentacles. It represents recovery and rebuilding, and you get to you can't basically pick a fruit before it is ripe. And if you try to rush something like love or an opportunity and it's not ripe and it's not ready, it's going to take longer in the future and in the long haul, basically. So take your time, only accept what's right for you, don't let others rush you, and don't rush them. Everything in divine timing. The good news with this is the next one is the 8 of Pentacles, which is putting things into production, which is the end of a chapter. It's learning something and really being able to go to the next level. So you're just one step away from that. There is one test that's coming through and knocking on the environment here. And here's the lesson in the 5 of Pentacles. Even though I would normally not read, I wouldn't skip around, but these two are related. So in the environment, this could come in the form of someone that needs or wants something from you. They're coming through and you know it's not worth it. Five of Pentacles means that you're not going to get much for the exchange. Maybe it's break even. There may also be someone that recognizes that you're willing to give a lot more than you get. You can do that occasionally, but not all the time. So make sure in any sort of contract that you're getting paid properly, and make sure in relationships that you're not constantly giving, because there does come a point where the scales are imbalanced and other things could come through: anger, disappointment, possibly an argument. So by simply saying no to certain things, you can avoid the Ten of Swords here. We'll talk more about those as we kind of travel through the spread. But first, we have two really big cards. I've been using this deck throughout this month here, and I've noticed a couple things. The devil likes to stick to the card that we have to pay attention to. Sometimes it's underneath, sometimes it's on top. So we have two reversals here. I will take them in reverse because of the devil here. The first card is the devil, and that represents basically strings being attached to things. Something that looks good, but it isn't good enough, or someone that says, I love you if and only if you do this. They don't just say, I love you, full stop. They want you to change or to fit a mold. This can also be a contract in business where someone says, we think you're amazing, but we want you to give away all of your rights here, here, and here. And you think to yourself, you must not think I'm intelligent or that amazing if you think I'm going to give away all of that. It's something that's just not good enough. So when you see it's not good enough, say no, push back, ask for your due. All right, so that's one way to look at this. This card also represents reclamation of power. An upright devil is when someone is trying to take it from you. A reverse devil is when you're cutting the ties and saying, this is not going to work anymore, or I see you and I see through this sort of facade. You also see a better path. The Judgment card here is coming through saying, don't doubt yourself. In reverse, it's you second guessing your decision. This could also be someone that's trying to gaslight you or convince you to do something, and you just have better judgment than that. You can see the game and you're saying game over. So I really like that. I like that you know in your heart and soul what you need. So talking about the synchronicity, what sets it up is walking away from something and walking toward this new dawn, this new day. Okay? So very, very powerful message there. Just like the Fool, he's both walking away and walking toward something. What you're walking away from here is something that just isn't enough. And you can see here too that maybe in the past you were left with like the short end of the bargain here, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm not getting enough fulfillment. I have a lot of ideas and a lot of vitality and energy. I'm ready to take action. This isn't going to stop me. And this can also just be fear or doubt. The devil works in many ways, lots of lower frequency energies. But whatever it is here, what I love on this card is we have rest in peace with a little rose at the top. So it's putting an end to whatever that is. And right after death, we have like this beautiful energy of rebirth and judgment. So you have both, a death and a rebirth, one door closing, another opening. In the crowning position, we have Queen of Swords, one of my favorite queen cards because she has the capacity to cut through nonsense. She speaks from the heart. She shoots from the hip. She's really, really clear and concise and unapologetic in that clarity and that boldness. So you have the ability with just a few words or a few actions to change your trajectory. It could be something as simple as 2 words, it's over, or I quit. It could be 3 words, I love you, or let's do this. You don't need a lot of words to make action happen. So she chooses them well. She says them with intention, with passion, and with honesty. And people get that. They follow suit. So I think this is easier for you, Aries, because you are bold. Speak truthfully, act accordingly, be accountable, and remember, less is more. Just like I'm using very few words, but using really concise and powerful words. That's it. Less is more. Just do less, but do it better. And the Queen of Swords is here to help you out. She's also one of the best cards for just general communication. So even if you don't normally think of yourself as, the best public speaker or being really comfortable in front of others, they don't care. What they like is the way you're speaking, the content, and the delivery just makes you you. So just be willing and ready to step up to the plate because you do have what it takes this month, Aries. And for those of you that want to engage with something like writing or speaking, public speaking, you might actually be pleasantly surprised by both the outreach, the impact, and basically the speed with which this can change things and open up some sort of an amazing synchronicity. Now let's look at one of the potential challenges this month, and it is an echo of the past coming through. So we're very happy that the Devil card was reversed. We're also very happy here that the Ten of Swords is reversed, because in the upright position, it can represent a moment of rejection, pain, or difficulty. When reversed, it means you're stepping away from that. You're seeing and recognizing the pattern, and we're focusing more on the transformative energy that little butterfly and that new day that's dawning behind her represents. So this is a day for a fresh start, and it's okay for something not to go right, because when you make a mistake, I don't really believe in failure, but when something doesn't work out, you learn what you don't want to do in the future again. And knowing what not to do, or what you don't like, or what hurts, helps you decide what might be healthier or better for you. And sometimes, just like our natural reflexes, we need to have that ouch moment to embrace the euphoric moments that might follow in the future by taking a different course. So it's just the universe redirecting you. Rejection is a form of protection and redirection. Pain is a teacher, and one of the things that you can say this month to your guides, to your higher self, to God and the universe is, thank you for the lesson of pain. I no longer need it. I release it with gratitude, but I no longer need it. And that will free you, that will untether you from some of what we're seeing here with the Devil, okay? Then we have another Knight card here. This is one of the fastest acting ones, but it's reversed, representing you. Simply put, the universe is asking you to slow down, to check your North Star, which was the Ace of Cups, and if and only if something meets your expectations, should you consider continuing down that path. If not, it's time to check your GPS and say, you know what, I'm not feeling this, but I'm really curious about that. So keep moving until you feel like it's in alignment, and then you can move forward. And the cool thing with the Knight of Swords is it's one of the quickest moving cards, which means that any perceived delay will be temporary. And quickly after that, you're going to notice that things pick up. You can make up for lost time. So never be afraid of saying no, of stopping, of pausing, of checking in, and also getting the clarity that you need. Let's talk about some other things besides speed that this represents. Editing something. A Knight of Swords reversed would say, we talked about this and that's not right. So it's looking at the Devil energy and saying, no, this is not only counter to my good judgment, but it's not what we agreed on. It's also saying maybe I don't want to do this because it caused pain or discomfort before. I want to do something else. You're speaking up and making the necessary changes for your happiness, for your own sort of success. And it can simply be one word, no. Just like Justice Reverse, it's saying something to the point. And really your communication this month is so important. So speak authentically, speak clearly, and speak concisely. You do not have to say a lot, but what you say, make sure that it matters. I hope that resonates. That's pretty much everything with this. Slowing down long enough to evaluate where you're at, to check in with your head and your heart, to check on what you're agreeing to, and then move forward. If we take a look at the environment, we have the Five of Pentacles here, and I'm using the traditional card for just a moment because it highlights the wounded energy that I'm picking up on here. I think there's someone around you that is dealing with something, could be deep-seated from the past where they just don't have a lot of confidence or didn't have a lot of support. There could be a health thing that's coming into play here where they just don't have as much to give because they're struggling with some sort of health challenge, or there's just low self-confidence. It could also be a combination of these things. That being said, they may not be at their best version of themselves here. And as a result, what's coming through here is an interplay between these two. They're right by each other. So Ten of Swords can be an argument or sharp communication, and it's coming from a place of protection, and they're trying to protect themselves from rejection, ironically, by shooting something down and basically cutting someone off. It could be you, it could be something else. You can't fix that right now. But what you can do is stop the argument from happening, because this is slowing down, pumping the brakes. This is the argument. So if someone comes across sharp, irritable, cruel, or just out of sorts, you slow down and you say, are you okay? That's all you have to say is like, this isn't like you, or this doesn't seem to track or to check what's going on. So you're going to get to the bottom of things before you react to the words. You're going to go to the source of it and say, is everything all right? Or rather than even kind of that, because it could trigger them, you could just say, help me understand where this is coming from. It's a very neutral thing. And it's a very open thing, saying, I hear your concerns. When did this start? Where is this coming from? And also, why are you just telling me this now? That way you can hopefully slow them down long enough to understand their perspective. It's going to save you a lot of time and energy. You're not going to say anything that you regret. They may actually get back into their headspace a bit and think, oh, this isn't how I thought it would pan out, okay? So you can almost save the day here by simply slowing down and getting to the root of the problem, all right? The Ten of Swords is also connected to burnout, and that can happen when you don't get enough time, energy, or support. So what you do there again is stop for a second, speak up, say no, and go in a different direction. It's not worth it. So really avoiding the burnout track this month is another thing that's coming through loud and clear. Last and most importantly here, you have the key to make the necessary change here, and you've already done the work. So we don't need to repeat this cycle. This is one of the blocks for the synchronicity. And as I said, when you say no to one thing, we have that little rest and peace up there, this other door opens up. And that puts you into your power this month, which is the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands here, we see someone sitting on the world in an oyster. The world is your oyster. So it's basically saying, the more you see it and embody it and believe it, the more others can also kind of like resonate with that. And almost as quickly as you think something, you see an indication that it's possible. So I really want you to focus on dreaming and envisioning and exploring opportunities. Think about what's next. Plan. You know, we were talking at the very beginning, I had the Hierophant there, about creating structures. Once you've done the structures, now free yourself up to think about what's next, because you'll have everything organized. And that brings you into the super powerful energy of the Magician, which is in your outcome. This is what it's all about, Aries. You, and I love the kind of Excalibur energy that we have here, you have the ability this month to make something take shape, take form, manifest. And I would not be surprised if many of you have an unexpected but welcome synchronicity that comes through. And if you're ready and willing, then some really, really cool stuff could be underway. Let's talk about, just generally speaking, what the Magician embodies. So it's the second card in the Major Arcana after the Fool, but it does have the number 1, so it represents beginnings. It's the one card that has all the elements readily available in front of you. So tools and resources are coming through, and that's why, by the way, this card is not enough. You do not have to accept the Five of Pentacles. Something better is waiting. You also have the ability to bring balance to that. You could take that ace right here, the Ace of Pentacles, and bring it in and say, this is what we need. And the Six of Pentacles is balance. A little bit of this, a little less of that, a little focus on this, like really bringing it all together. So discernment, focus, and belief are the things that empower the Magician. The things that distract the Magician can be not trusting yourself or trying to do everything at once. You have to believe, you have to stay focused. And those are the things that will make you the powerful Magician and align you to your synchronicity. Let's expand this and go a little bit deeper into health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with the energy of health, which is about your mind, body, and spirit. We have here, become the elixir. Let your glow do the heavy lifting. This is really connected to the Sun card that I was featuring in the channeled messages here. Charisma matters. But in order to become the elixir, you have to feel that glow. You have to create that sort of stability, that happiness, that joy. So we're getting back to that center card, aren't we? I mentioned that happiness and fulfillment are key. Let's go a step further and define this as mental health and emotional well-being. That's it. That's the center of your compass. Without the emotional component, everything else is just a house of cards. So the universe is asking you, are you happy? Do you feel supported? Do you feel safe? If anything that you see on this card resonates, it's time to heal the inner child and take back that sense of feeling safe, secure, confident if it's lacking. It's also like a star sort of energy here as we see this brilliant light, and it's saying just be yourself, shine. So once you've worked on that emotional component, once you've also listened to some of the channeled messages and made sure that you're nourishing and nurturing yourself, then it becomes a lot easier to have your sort of cup overflowing at the center here, which is what we see. Okay, let's take a deeper dive into this and just look at general health messages. If you want to make a change, you can make it happen. So whatever you don't like, whatever needs to shift in a new direction, Synchronicity, Two of Wands, and Magician, these are the best possible cards. And Queen of Swords, so action and power and vision and this new opportunity knocking. There are definitely some clear things to focus on this month. The first and sort of like most apparent is walking away from toxic people, toxic environments, possibly even an addiction or some sort of tendency that brings you down. If you know what that is, then all you really have to do perhaps is decide enough is enough and reach out for help if you want to, okay? But the most important thing is the deciding energy. So when you finally say I'm done and you finally say enough, the new phase starts to kind of enter into your life. We also see chronic pain or fatigue. It could be because of just burnout, putting too much energy in, not getting enough back. There could also be other things coming through. This can be a fear of failure. You think to yourself, I can't allow myself to make a mistake because someone won't love me or something. A lot of times these two are reinforced. When we're children and we don't get the grades our parents want, they tell us we're not good enough, or you get compared to a sister or a friend or someone else. All that matters is, are you doing the best you can do? Did you give 100%? If you did, even if you didn't get it on paper, on a soul level, you're doing all right. And the good news is I'm your tarot teacher, not your teacher or your doctor. So I'm here to help you kind of overcome some of those inner saboteur energies. Just know you're doing okay and you're tracking towards success. You have to be easier and kinder to yourself. And learn from your missteps. Let's not even use the word mistakes. Everything can be a lesson. Everything can be an opportunity to grow. And I think that's one of the best things that you can give to yourself. I had a friend recently where I thanked them. They gave me some advice and I got distracted, didn't take it 100%. And I came back to them later. I said, thanks for not saying I told you so. And they were just really sweet in their response. They're like, what good would that do? It would just separate us more. I'm glad you found wisdom in the advice, and I'm here when you want to talk some more about it. And that made me even more likely to connect with them because they had just really good intentions. So don't say I told you so. Don't feel to yourself that energy of coulda, woulda, shoulda. Instead, think to yourself, I can, I will, and I am making these necessary changes. I did learn from this and I will do better in the future. I am doing the best that I can right now. Use those sorts of approaches and you'll heal the Ten of Swords. Because we all have these moments, right? The Five of Pentacles, more when you look at the traditional illustration, does have to do with your general health of your feet. Some of you may be dealing with arthritis. There could be a broken or sprained ankle or foot or metatarsal, anything in this lower region. You could also be leaning on crutches because of some sort of, maybe there was knee surgery or something of that nature. Just be kind to the lower extremities. This is the time of year, especially in the northern hemisphere where we're in the throes of winter, where you can slip, you can fall, you can twist something. So just be good to yourself. This is also one of the gentler cards when it comes to cold and flu. It's just saying you can get sick. So slow down a little bit. The body is showing up as needing more love, being a little bit more vulnerable. So that's what I'm seeing. And again, this can be back pain. Obviously, with any of these things, you'll go to the doctor, but especially if you have chronic or sharp pain, which is what this can represent. I like these three cards, though, because they do show things improving. It's just a matter of taking control and making a decision to make that happen. All right? If you don't know what's going on with respect to something in your health, ask. And this can also be a close call, the Devil and the Judgment card, a wake-up call and a realization that something could have been worse, but it wasn't. And don't beat yourself up. Just make a better choice in the future. Same thing for people around you. Be there to support them. Don't be there to point out the obvious. No, I told you so. It doesn't do anything for anybody. So there you go. Let's look at what's coming through here in wealth. This is unique. I don't know if I've pulled this card before, the turkey spirit. So in this one, it's really about gratitude. Gratitude is going to take you further on your personal growth, career growth, and it's just an awesome lesson that's coming through as well. So give with gratitude and grace, but also accept with gratitude and grace and embody that, particularly when you communicate. If there's something difficult to say, do it gracefully. And if you can't say it in a way that's elevated, sit on it until you can and elevate that communication as well. Because you can't take back something once it's been said. And that's what the Ten of Swords represents. The blood on this card can be spilled words, actions that have been done that can't be put back into the box. And so that's definitely one thing that's coming through there. The good news for you, though, is there could be something coming through where you will be put in a position where you can show that grace, where you can show that ability to basically lead by example. All right, let's go ahead now and take a deeper dive into those that are employed, looking for work, or retired or students. So starting off with those that are currently employed, there's a really loud energy that kind of comes across the cards for one narrative. I see several different scenarios because this is a general reading, so I'll do my best to highlight all the potential outcomes. The first one that I see is for people that are done with their current path. Judgment here means that you probably made up your mind, months ago that it's time, but there's something holding you back. It could be finances. It could be just wondering if you're going to be able to find something else out there. The main thing here for those that have decided is just get that next opportunity lined up. It'll happen faster than you think. So it's more important to focus on what's next, because I do feel that for some of you, you can't change the system that you're in. And you really don't want to get into any sort of argument or make things more difficult. So I'm confirming for those who have decided it's time for a change, you're right. And it's just time for you to figure out the next step. Get that next step oriented and prepared, and then move in that direction, okay? Because I do feel like everything's kind of already been played out here. And why spin your wheels in something where you kind of know better and you feel like this has been long building and long standing sort of issues here. The devil really doesn't want to change. And all that's important here is to move in a different direction. So that's a very specific subset for some of you. Now, for the rest of you, if you're employed and you want to stay where you're at, here are the challenges and opportunities that I see. First and foremost, this Ten of Swords isn't a sustainable energy. So if we connect that to the Five of Pentacles, it's basically saying you're trying to do the work of many people, and it's going to exhaust, possibly even make you sick, so this isn't worth it. You're going to use the energy of the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords to speak up and to bring it to attention. I just want to call your attention to these two cards. The Devil reversed can be liberation, but it can also be someone that knows they should do better, but because the Judgment card follows it and it's also reversed, they're not following through. They're just going to do it. So this, to me, can represent either a boss or an organization that turns a blind eye to bad actors or bad activity. So there's a bigger sort of thing there. You really have to think, do I want to open up a can of worms? Some of you may. And there could be legal opportunities here, intricacies that I could spend a whole spread looking at. I just want to highlight that there could be something intrinsic to the organization that smells a little fishy to me. And again, kind of like the people that decided to leave, you have to think, do I want to fight that fight? Is it worth it? This can represent legal action. This can be more than one person taking that legal action. So that's really interesting. All right, let's assume that everything else is good. And how can we elevate this to the highest version of those that are working? It could just be advocating for more money and resources, putting a really good case together and getting what you need, not going in a conversation with a sort of accusatory tone, and instead of going towards something with my way or the highway, or pointing out someone's lack of judgment, you could say, I've learned a lot by working here. I think that there's a lot of opportunities for improvement, but in order for my growth and for my ability to sustain on this path, this is what I need. How can we make it happen? That's the best that I can do with that arrangement, because it does feel like this month there is some heart-to-heart conversations that have to happen about expectations, about maybe people's decision making. And we talked about the heart being the compass this month. I'm always going to tell you the truth. It feels like some of you just might be a little bit burned out, a little bit unhappy, a little dissatisfied. So if you decide to stay where you're staying, then maybe it's just not working as much. They're not putting as much energy into work and starting to fill out the other pieces of your life. More time with family, more time with friends, more time with self. Saying no to certain things at work, even if that means that you're not going to be the first one chosen for advancement, because there's different things in life that create satisfaction and success. There's something not gelling with the present work situation that you either need to fix or move on from. The choice is up to you, Aries. I'm just kind of painting a picture. Can you make it happen? Either way, yes. It's a little bit more work if you want to fix it. It's probably a little easier to find something, but you don't want to settle. This card can mean that you want to, so don't settle. Slow down and make sure that you find the right match. I think even if you decide to stay, it's worth researching other options. It can help you with future conversations when it comes to compensation and advancement. That was a little bit complicated, but listen, we got some tricky cards. I like that this could open up new opportunities. Whatever you decide to do from this point forward, something good could come of it, okay? If you're looking for work this month, I want you to be really, really picky and really ask the tough questions. The devil and judgment reverse can mean that someone's trying to hide or sugarcoat something. So in particular, it could be compensation package or overtime, or also like bad morale or burnout. I feel like there could be a company that's hiring and you want to learn like what's going on. Did they just get like acquired? What do recent employees have to say online? There's a lot of like online reviews where you can see what people say about employers. You should totally check it out. If you know someone that works there, there are platforms like LinkedIn where you can send them a message and say, hey, do you like your job? Do you know anyone that's in HR that's hiring or whatever? Get the inside scoop before you decide to take the leap. And then when you go there, if something seems too good to be true, in your best form of communicating, ask, well, what's this about? And you could even ask them the tough questions. You should come prepared to these interviews, whether it's on Zoom or in person, and just say, what do you think is your biggest challenge with respect to motivating employees? How would you say morale is? What is the trajectory for growth there? Ask the hard things like that you really would want to know, and it's hard to get an answer to when you've finally got the job. So come prepared, be curious, do your research. This is entrepreneurial, so is this, so is this. So if you want to start something up, it's great. Make sure you have enough money to start a business. I'm going to play your advocate this month, and I'll point out some areas of opportunity there. So can you start a business? Yes, but you might need more funding. You might need 2 to 3 more months worth of padding before you begin. Other than that, I feel like it is a good month. Things could start to pick up towards the latter portion. The first 2 weeks might be more planning and researching. Okay? Shifting to those who are retired. First of all, good for you. Secondly, it does feel like some of you may have retired early and you're wondering now what, or maybe you had to take a package before you were ready. There was something around this that either shows disbelief, like, oh my God, I'm finally retired now, what do I do? Or you didn't have a choice and it was kind of like the best outcome. Or there's just this sort of ambiguity where you are not quite comfortable with that. So lack of comfort with ambiguity. This is a chance to explore, but you may benefit from talking to someone else who's been down that route. So maybe a friend or family member, you could ask them for advice. Definitely speaking to, it can be an expert, not necessarily like a psychologist, a counselor, a career counselor. Even though you're exiting a career, it's like, now what? And the Magician card is one of just having a ball, having fun, doing something for yourself because it feels good. And I talk about this all the time when I look at retired energy. It's sort of like, I'm giving you permission to try something else. However, there's a couple of reality checks here. Some of you need time to just relax a little bit and to recover. And there may be a mourning process that is going on here, because the stepping away from something, even when you think you're ready, maybe there was a little lack of preparation or readiness, you can mourn not being a part of a company or kind of walking away from one career path. But there's new things that are waiting. There's new opportunities that are knocking. Just take care of health and well-being, and know that it's okay to feel sad or uncertain. And if you do, speak out and reach out, because I really do feel like you're going to land on your feet. And travel is inviting you forward. So if you want to travel, if you want to go to school or learn something, that's also coming through. Spiritual energy also coming through. But I will highlight that for some of you, there is just a little bit of healing. Maybe fear over finances, but it does look like the finances are better than they appear. So there could just be some, in addition or instead of career counseling, it could be financial counseling that's coming forth. Okay, shifting the focus to students. Don't go forward if you don't like it. The devil and judgment mean that you've changed your mind or you don't want to do it, but you're afraid of disappointment or disappointing others. You've got to make the change for your own happiness and your own heart, okay? Some of you are just afraid of failure. Remember what I said earlier. In life, nobody gets straight A's, very few people, unless you're an ascended master. It's not about getting graded. It's about how much you're getting out of an experience. So the grade I care about is what you feel you're getting out of this experience and this trajectory. And if it isn't gelling with you, this is a month of redirection. I'm your advocate. I'm your reader. I may not be a doctor or a therapist, but there's a lot of energy of support that comes through on this. So I'm just supporting you to do what makes you feel happy, even if others do not. And that's all I have to say for that. Okay, let's move on to love. In the energy of love here, we have the Emerald Tablet activation, cosmic ordering, divine alchemy, conscious manifesting. So this is higher love first, then we'll get into the specifics of love. Cosmic ordering, that has to do with getting organized, which I talked about earlier. Divine alchemy, you can take any situation and change it. This is the chemist in the major arcana. The magician can take all the elements, mix them together, and come up with something else. So you have the ability to rearrange things this month. And when we're looking at business partnerships in particular, that's going to set you apart from others. But same thing in existing relationships. Conscious manifesting. Well, that's your synchronicity card. And I mentioned this. Be careful and be cognizant of what you're thinking, because they have the ability, these thoughts, of creating in real time. So you could create beauty and joy, or you could create challenges. Let's go for the beauty and joy. Let's break this down into 3 categories for those in love, looking for love, or happily single. We'll start off with those in a relationship. Are there some challenges? Yes, but let's cut to the good stuff first, and then I'll work through the challenges. The good stuff is you could come out stronger than when you entered into whatever challenges are in front of you. The good part is with the 2 of Wands, if you can find common ground, you can make it work. This is communication. This is limitless possibilities. So really the sky's the limit. And the fact that this came through in hopes, fears, and opportunities portends good things, because this represents one or both of you having a plan or seeing a vision of a future together. And as long as you can hold on to that joint vision of togetherness, like we're in it to win it, you can do it. I want to see something like this in a spread, and I get to see it here. So I feel like we can actually manage the challenges. So I wanted to set the stage here, because I know some of you could be looking at some of these cards and wondering what's going on. Number 1 challenge, your sensitivity. Are you balanced, and are you in the space where you need to be in order to deal with external things? If not, take care of yourself, okay? We talked about it earlier, but it's the number 1 equation. The most important relationship is the one you have with yourself, and if that needs some adjustment or healing, focus on that first. The second challenge in relationships is things out of your control. So the devil could be someone else's decision, same thing with judgment, and you could be watching someone in your extended family, a mother, a father, mother-in-law, sister, someone like that, and the 2 of you are seeing like, gosh, I wish we could help them, but they don't want the help. So you lean on one another and you try to just cope with those challenges. It could also be something that's happening in your jobs, your finances, your health, that is equally out of your control. Some things happen and we can't change that. All we can do is basically change our reaction to that. So the Devil card is a low version of the Lovers. If you ever look at the two side by side, you'll see that. So basically you want to elevate it into unconditional support and love without unnecessary judgment. And we can take this one at face value with that. Don't judge yourself harshly. Don't judge your partner harshly. Listen to what they have to say. That's what the Knight of Swords reverse would do. Heal your inner child. Make sure that they're doing the work to heal themselves, because if we have two wounded people trying to communicate, it becomes difficult to do so. This could be a place where some of you may benefit from partner therapy or something of that nature, couples therapy rather, so that both of you have an objective third party to kind of help you see it from one another's perspective. And that empathy will get you into the Two of Wands a lot faster. The biggest pitfall this month is jumping into an argument or setting up an argument. It doesn't serve a higher purpose. It's not going to improve things. Step away from that if you can. The other big challenge could be health or burnout. Something could be going on where you're just not at your highest possible level of happiness, empathy, etc. So healing that first before having any key discussions is key. Things working in your favor. The ability to listen and communicate. A joint vision of the future together. And guess what? There's still attraction. This is also not just chemistry, like a chemist, but it's chemistry between one another and mutual attraction. So I feel like there's a lot of positives and there's some challenges that any relationship's going to deal with. Highs and lows with health, highs and lows with family members that are, in the extended family, some financial differences of opinion, and basically maybe even a difference of perspective, because it looks like things are better than one party is believing, and it's about finding a way to basically assuage concerns and get on the same page when it comes to how to spend, how to save, and how to be there for one another when it comes to money. So is it a manageable month? Yes. Could something better and unexpected come out of the ability to work through this? Like I said, yes, you could come out of this better than when you started, particularly when it comes to leveling up the Devil to the Lovers and making it unconditional love, making some plans together, and realizing, hey, if we can deal with whatever this was, we're good to go. Okay, so there is a little bit of a test, but I think that your strength is a testament to making this work, and you can really get through it. All right, let's reset this. If you're looking for love this month, can you find it? Yes. You can manifest whatever it is you seek, but are you happy? Are you healthy? Are you open? There's some internal work that needs to be done first. Not only that, but whomever you might be connecting with may not be completely free. The Devil and Judgment card can show like a divorce that's pending or a third party. Doesn't have to be a lover, by the way. And this also is true for existing relationships, by the way. There could be a parent or an ex that likes to try to insert themselves in the picture even when they shouldn't be there. So the most important thing for you, whether it's new love that you're seeking out or if you're in an existing relationship, is to put down boundaries and say, that's not an appropriate way to interact with us. Really make sure your partner stands up for you and vice versa, okay? All of that being said, you could meet an air sign for sure this month. There could be a slight difference in age or maturity, but this is a pretty even match. It does feel like the biggest challenge for you is this person may talk more and needs someone to listen. So see if that's compatible. Something around communication. One party wants to talk more than the other, or wants you to talk more than you're used to. There's something like that. Don't be afraid of rejection. I actually see things working out in a good way for you, okay? Confidence issues are coming through and health issues are coming through. But once you kind of sort those out, you're good. And just get to know someone and really make sure that they're truly free. Or once you get to know them, it's a good chance, like whenever you can meet the friends or family, see who it is and put those boundaries down if that Devil energy comes forth, all right? Now let's take a look at those that are happily single. I actually think it's a perfect month to not be attached. What you can really focus on, the same thing that we were looking at for those that are not focusing on work, personal development, in spiritual development, travel, and the ability to take your finances in a new direction. Lots of good things there. And also, people are still looking at you. You have the ability to step into any situation, and it's like people are going to talk to you or they want to ask for your advice. You're coming through with leadership qualities, and you can put that anywhere you'd like. So this is a good month to just focus on the healing and recovery and making plans for the future. Whether you are single and happy, or unemployed and happy, or retired and happy, put your energy behind things that you really like. It's a very similar read for those two. All right, let's go to your destiny cards. We got two. We have the riddle as the presenting card, and then we have Eros, which represents love beneath it. So let's talk. So, like I said, there could be some unknown things coming through in the realm of love. You may not know that someone else, like I said, is recently divorced or has a child, or you may not know something about them, and this is basically getting to understand the riddle. This is especially for people that are entering into new love, looking for love. Even in existing love, where you've known someone for a long time, there may be something that comes to the surface. It could be a grievance and an annoyance or something like that in a long-term relationship, and you're like, why didn't you tell me about this sooner? It's not like I couldn't have adjusted or we couldn't have talked about it. And I think that's the key to success, is to remind people that openness in communication is really what you need. I do like the diamond quality that comes forth in the Eros card. That's basically showing me strength and resilience, since it's one of the strongest structures here on the planet here, or bonds. So you can get through this. You just have to see one another clearly. Clarity is important when it comes to a diamond. I think that's pretty much everything there. Love yourself too. I mean, it's important. We talked about that Ace of Cups at the center, to love yourself. And this is a month to basically understand more of the way that you work, and the more of the way that core relationships work in your life. That's everything here. So let's go ahead now and dig a little deeper into the expanded forecast. We'll take a look at sun, rising, and moon. Sun, rising, and moon. These are beautiful cards. As we take a look here in the sun sign, we have the King of Pentacles, which portends really good things when it comes to business, personal development, wealth in general, all the resources that are flowing through your particular energy. And also, this is a card that represents a happy home. It's a paternal energy, so we talked about that birthing or parental vibe that I was picking up on in dreams. This definitely connects with all of that. And it's a green thumb. So I think this is a great month for Aries sun. And I think in particular, you just have to focus on the energy of possibilities, which was the outcome. And again, focusing on empowered vision, really making sure that you know what you want, and that you can recognize when the universe starts to provide those synchronicities. Where there's some bumps along the way, yeah, but everything is landing you in the right position. So if there's a setback, if there's a disappointment, if there's a realignment of some sort, it's to get you closer to that synchronicity, and you exit this month in a better place than when you started. Just like I was talking about with relationships, it definitely comes through for sun sign as well. All right, this is one of the highest possible cards you can get next to the Wheel of Fortune for things related to your wealth and your resources. So even though we're looking at sun sign here, that's what I'm picking up on. Some of you might be first-time parents, and as well as like what we talked about at the beginning, some of you are just ready to let something go and birth a project or idea, and this card is confirming that. Let's move on to rising and ascendant. We have the Ten of Pentacles, also a great card. This is representing the completion of something. The arrival for many of you at something like marriage or a new relationship, starting to finally basically get a return on some sort of energetic investment. This is especially good in rising and ascendant because this is the way you show yourself to the world. So for those of you that are focusing more on being visible in work, in finance, or just in general, having people see your worth, this is that rainbow that comes after the difficulty. The reversal of this can simply be the understanding that you're living your life. We live many lifetimes, but we have one walk through this one. So you're not you're not allowing your parents or your friends and family to vicariously live through you. You are living authentically and walking authentically down your own path with joy, with confidence. Don't succumb to peer, familial, or societal pressures, because all of those things can be represented with this. This is also an encouragement to step out of any hermiting energy, because there's so much to be gained right now by putting yourself out there and networking, okay? Generally speaking, very positive. A couple of hiccups when it comes to possibly wanting to retract or possibly giving into pressure. But if you avoid those two tendencies, then we see a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow and some really good things. Again, possibly new love, relationship, or a job. And for those of you that have been dealing with some of the challenges that we talked about, I hope most of you stuck through to this point of the reading, because this is the payoff. This is where it all finally comes into focus. All right, looking here at the moon sign messages, we have the Hierophant. And I talked about this way back at the beginning, but I'm going to encapsulate it here. First of all, you have always had the key to your own success. This month, it's really about putting together structures that feel right for you. Much like I was talking about with the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, the way you approach it is going to be different. We don't have the traditional Hierophant here. We have like a high priestess walking into the Hierophant role. And she's basically saying, you know what? I'm going to do it my way. But she's not afraid to put the structures in place. And guess what? She has people that are ready and willing to follow. I see you as the Hierophant, not as the subjects, not as the people following instructions. People are looking for a leader, for a teacher, for someone that really feels confident and clear. Aries, you have the passion, you have the drive, you have the potential to do it. So don't let anyone or anything step in your way. Use those keys, open the doors, create the path, create the structure, and the sky is the limit right now. Definitely some boss energy coming through for Aries moon. And I'm excited to see how you decide to use that. Definitely keep me posted in the comments below. All right, let's move on to a final question and final card. This is your chance to ask anything that wasn't already covered in this general reading. So let me shuffle the cards and see what Spirit has to say. All right, we have a call to accountability here. So if you were asking me a yes or no question, this one's pretty simple. It's saying not yet. An upright would be a flat out no, but in reverse it's saying you're seeing that there is something that needs your attention or someone else's attention. A lot of times people may not be able to follow through on something that they promised to deliver. So if you're looking at an opportunity in front of you, I would say there's something in the fine print or there's something about the party that you're about to engage with where you may be better served by a different experience. This is also just the universe saying, be real with yourself. If you don't feel it, don't commit to it. Don't make promises you can't keep. Don't do something where you're not feeling it in the heart space. And if you sense that someone else isn't fully engaged, just check in with them and say, hey, is this really what you want to do? I won't be upset if you say no. I need to know that I can count on you. If you say yes, I believe you, but I'm also going to hold you to that. So, really make sure that you're accountable, they're accountable, and you're both on board. But generally speaking, this is saying explore other options, explore other opportunities. There could be something that's just beneath the surface that needs to be dealt with first. And once you do that, things are going to be much more sustainable and much happier in the long run. Okay? Thank you everybody for allowing me to be a part of your reading and walk you through all of the ins and outs and ups and downs for the month ahead. Generally speaking, again, when we look at this, it looks like you've done a lot of work. There's a little bit of healing, but there's a lot of opportunities. And as we talked about way at the beginning, there's a lot of synchronicities that are coming through. And then when we broke it down to sun, rising, and moon, there's some really beautiful messages across the board. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel, and I do appreciate it. You can also give me a follow on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all major platforms. Remember that I don't offer private readings, and I won't use direct messages, so if somebody does that, it's a quick way to spot an imposter, block and report, and let me know about it as well. If you want to give back, you can do it through super stickers, super chats, and also through memberships. All of that is available right here on YouTube on my official channel. You can always go to my website if you ever need additional news and information. And as a quick reminder, my production schedule is Monday, Thursday, and Friday. And basically, I will put new uploads on those days, live streams every Sunday, and daily card reads as well. There may be some intermittent changes throughout this month as I prepare for a move, but you can check out the community tab for more information. In the meantime, I just want to say I appreciate you. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your journey here in the month ahead, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.